about a range of issues, and I'd like you to chime in. Let me introduce my guest this morning, and right now I'm joined by Sylvanus Osoro. He is a political analyst and also an aspirant for the Member of Parliament position, South Mugirango. Thank you very much for joining us. We also have Charles Kipkule. He is a political analyst. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah,
I don't know if you're running as an independent.
No. I'm an active observer.
Active observer.
Yeah.
All right, talking about observing, IEBC is set to launch the inspection of the voters register today. How confident are you in this process that they're about to launch? I'll start with you, Sylvanus.
We don't need to doubt the commission as at now. No political player is supposed to doubt any member of a commission. Number two, they are working within the law. Voter verification is paramount, and it's actually within the right time. And I need to applaud them. They've really hustled. They've worked very hard. Within a very short period of time, they've really worked a lot, and for me, that is quite commendable. And I don't think there's reason to doubt.
All right.
However, they also need to invite external
I thought you said there's no point of asking questions about the process.
It's very important for them to raise the confidence even higher. They can invite the political players, major political players, for that. I mean,
to
just
do
to
what
show,
exactly?
to be a show of confidence. In their verification, upon verification, they need to submit a copy, a clear copy of the original to the political players, and that is the major political players. I do not want to do away with the other presidential candidates. I learned that we probably have 18 presidential candidates.
We'll be talking about them shortly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then if they raise the confidence even a bit higher than it is right now, there is no reason to worry.
All right, there's no reason to worry.
There is no reason
I
to
like
worry.
that you say that, Charles. Is that the same feeling you have? KPMG, first of all, when it came out, the opposition was quite adamant that they should not be the ones to carry out this process because they had no experience in it. But right now, everybody seems to have cooled down, and everybody is trusting that IEBC made the right decision and KPMG will do a good job. From where you sit, what is your take on that?
Well, I tend to agree with my colleague here that we need to have a level of confidence to the IEBC in order for it to deliver a credible poll in August, and especially that it was newly constituted just a few months ago. So their biggest challenge at the moment is to deliver that poll. So from where I sit, I think the choice of KPMG was above board. And KPMG, as you know, it is a reputable firm that is able to conduct the audit. It is not only a Kenyan company, it is international, and it's able to deliver on that. So from where I sit, I think the KPMG job of auditing the IEBC register was a good choice. And I also want to urge Kenyans, let us accord IEBC the benefit of doubt at least, because being new, they have not been tested. They have no failure, at least at the level of the commissioners. And for the key political players, I think it is time we consider that we are running against time. It's a race against time. So we need to work within the timelines to avoid litigations or anything that may come in the way of us conducting elections on August 8th.
But IEBC is now in the center of a litigation in the Court of Appeal.
Itself, yes.
So where are they? Fine, we're saying let's support them. Let's not have, things are going to come in the way of time and everything. But here they are, they moved to the Court of Appeal trying to appeal that decision about the presidential results, being announced at the constituency level. So what is what?
Exactly. For me, now, that one raises questions. IEBC tries to chew too much.
I thought, Sylvanus, you said, we give them time.
I'm very comfortable with the verification because it's within the law.
Okay.
But the issue of them going to appeal a high court ruling in regard to a constitutional item that requires the returning officers. And I said it last week here that Section 86 of the Constitution of Kenya, which is the supreme law of the land, gives the mandate of declaring results, presidential, whatever results, at the constituency level. That is the returning officer. I do not really understand why IEBC went to court, to appeal for such a ruling, that they want to be given a complete, comprehensive mandate to declare and announce results at the National Tallying Center, where the returning officers and the agents of the major political players have no room that raises questions.
It raises questions.
Again, it also brings this other question that they claim not to have enough time. Of course, I mean, it's true they do not have enough time, thanks to the laws that were passed by the tyranny of numbers in Parliament that gave timelines which are so limited using the tyranny of numbers unknowingly. But they have another time. They have all the time to challenge these very petty things. I mean, things that are... I mean, why should they even go to court?
Charles, is it petty? Why would IEBC take on such a matter?
Well, I think from my standpoint, we will want to interrogate the reason why IEBC is also insisting that they need to declare the results of the presidential results at the national level.
Yeah.
So first of all, we have a national, the person who declares the overall results for the president, that is done at the national level. So perhaps the IEBC did their due diligence and they realized they did a risk assessment and realized that, well...
Risk assessment?
Yeah. I'm just speculating.
Yeah, speculating.
Because we may not know exactly the reason why, but as per norm, that has been the standard practice. That results are announced provisionally at the constituency level and then transmitted to the National Tallying Center, where they are now verified and announced. So understanding the dynamics and being very well aware of the level of malpractice that happens in our country. You can get a certain constituency where there is a domination by one political leaning, declaring maybe 99.9% of all elected voters, which is not really normal.
No.
Let me finish, my friend. So what happens is this, that this provision is probably to allow for the IEBC to confirm and verify these results, because the transmission of the results from the tallying center, the constituency tallying center, is only done provisionally and then it's relayed the way we see, but they tell us these are provisional results.
But then what would be the problem with the returning officer doing it with finality? Because he is on the ground in the presence of people who are of the parties or agents of the contenders. What would be the issue with him announcing it?
You have 290 constituencies in Kenya. And out of those 290 constituencies, if you declare presidential results as final from 290 constituencies and just transmit them to the national level just for announcement, then you are opening the field for more contestations of the results and even losing the credibility. So what we want to do is this. My point is that we need to build confidence in the IEBC and only put measures and stopgap measures to ensure that whatever is announced at the national level tallies with what was announced at the constituency level.
But remember, a few years ago, that brought a serious problem because...
That is why we went for the electronic transmission. And if you need to invest in proper checks and balances to ensure credible elections, then observers are allowed into the process. You have agents into the process. So if you don't have a problem at the constituency level, your job is only to sit and wait for the national declaration and see if it tallies with what you declared at the constituency level.
Finally, on that point,
this topic, we can actually have this discussion like forever.
And that's why I want you to make your final comment on this
But the law is the law.
Yeah.
You see, we need to get to see the history, or to follow way back in the history on what happens in the presidential elections all through since 1992, 1997, 2002, 2013, and now. You need to know that the only place that agents of contenders are allowed to observe their elections of their preferred candidates or their masters is at the polling centers. And upon verification, they oversee, the tallied votes at the returning office, the constituency tallying center, where they hear and verify what they had there. But now, at the national tallying center, not even contenders are allowed to question. Not even contenders. Nobody is allowed to question the announced results. And that is why the particular case scenario, that Tiati constituency with 18,000 votes, they garnered, the current president got 64,000 votes. And the constituency then had 18,000 votes. Those are some of the questions that now bring issue. And that is why we are saying, since the verification is done by the agents at the constituency level, I mean, the returning officers are employed by IEBC. They are trained by IEBC. They are officers of IEBC. What do the commissioners want? What interest do they have that they want to now be the people announcing the final results. And that is the question.
Okay. This seems that question really will not get an answer here today.
It will go on and on.
Well, yeah, so let's continue with the conversation. Just before we leave the IEBC, Musalia Mudavadi a few days ago came and said that he does not trust that the IEBC is reshuffling returning officer. Are we, is he creating, something a problem that's non-existent? Charles?
Well, I think it goes down still to the issue of confidence. The political class, especially those who wield significant influence amongst the electorate, should do all they can to build confidence of the people in the IBC.
Yeah.
So what Musalia Mudavadi said was that the IBC has announced that they are doing routine transfers and reshuffling of returning officers. And I think 2 days ago they published a Gazette notice informing Kenyans of the new persons who has been posted where, which is good because now the public know who is coming to your constituency. But now the position that Musalia Mudavadi was speaking from was that he said, let it not be lip service. If you are saying that you are transferring these people, then what are the considerations of this transfer? Are you transferring them based on ethnic considerations so that you put people who you feel are of an extraction that will help to advance your interest in certain areas or to go and safeguard? So probably...
So it is a genuine concern.
It is a genuine concern, but there is need for caution to make sure that such concerns, when they are brought out to the public, they do not erode the confidence of the public on the IBC.
On the IBC.
Yeah.
All right. Brief comment on that.
I agree and disagree with him on equal measure. That the worry, or rather the queries raised by Mudavadi, have some sense of truth that why should they be transferred? But again, on the other side, when you transfer somebody, who is not familiar to that environment, has a reason to prove confidence in that area because you do not really know, you've not acclimatized very well with that area.
Right.
So clearly, if the reasons given by the commission in regard to the transfer are genuine, then no reason to worry.
Okay.
However, now the questions were raised because of our ethnic balance. That when you check on the transfer, you see some names which are perceived to, that perception that probably your second name defines who you will vote for or whom you support.
Who you support.
Those are the things now that probably Mudavadi was raising, that you get our boy in Kisumu.
But
so why those kind of
those
questions?
Details,
those are the things,
isn't that the same thing we're trying to kill when we talk about stopping tribalism and everything?
To be very realistic, our politics revolves around tribes. That is, you cannot vie under ODM in Kiambu County and win. It's perceived as a Luo party. And those are the things that people need to do.
But my friend, you see, what we need to do,
That's an interesting
we are talking about the IBC as an independent institution, which is not beholden to any other interest, even ethnic considerations. So if today the IBC says we are deploying returning officers on the basis of their tribal inclinations, then that causes a fundamental, it's a departure from who we are as Kenyans.
Yeah. Or who we want to
be an independent
who we want to
we
be.
are fighting cohesion, we are working against unity and dividing Kenyans.
All right.
So it is very absurd to have, Mudavadi never said that, but if that is the thrust of the argument, then it really has to be condemned because I, Kipkulei, has a right. I can register in Kisumu and cast my vote there. I can be employed there and I want to
do you realize that your area, there is a person who was denied a certificate for being a lawyer?
No, he was given. He was given. Okwara was given in Turbo.
He was, all right.
He was given.
Okay, fine. So we'll continue the conversation, and I want us to move out of IEBC and the intricacies and move on to food prices. Yesterday, really, one of the challenges was the quorum. And, we're at a very important and critical point in our country right now. Kenyans are suffering, but our legislators really committed to ensuring that they can do all they can to ensure that food prices come down, given by what happened yesterday in Parliament.
To be very honest, everything rises and falls on leadership. The day that Kenyans will realize that bad governance yields, bad life, they'll notice that we need to vote for ideas and items and clearly change the structure of leadership in this country. The prices of basic commodities have gone very high. And when we got this government, the Jubilee government took power, they promised Kenyans that the cost of living will be so affordable and balancing, distribution of resources, which is not very true. Some of the things that you're seeing is because of hard economic times, because of these reasons of high borrowing too much from the foreign countries, the World Bank. So clearly, we're having a challenge. I mean, stopping importation of maize and those kind of things. I must applaud the decision made by the president to push the MPs to have the laws passed that probably could help us lower the cost of living. However, it's cosmetic. This is a period of electioneering period. I mean, to me, it appears cosmetic. It's a solution that is short-lived. Serious measures haven't been put in place to probably curb this challenge from recurring. It has never been that cost of flour is higher, cooking flour is actually very high, maize flour, than the wheat flour. I mean, it has never been.
But removing the politics from it, at least there's something that's being done to the Kenyan. The Kenyan down in the grassroots level, as much as, he understands politics, they're still buying the unga at a high price. So if you remove politics from it, as at least with this, these measures that are being undertaken, do you think that it's a positive thing?
No, it's a positive thing, but it's short-lived, and you cannot remove politics from this because at the end of the day, it's our political leaders that are still, at the end of the day, that define, the end product of everything in this country. So clearly, you can't remove politics, one. Two, what you see is cosmetic, and that is our complaint, that it is short-lived, that probably we can, and the truth of the matter is the reduction of maize flour can only be effective from July. Upon opening our gaps of importation, which probably takes 2 months or 3 months to have enough maize in our country, then do mass production of flour, then have them shelved in the supermarkets and other places. So, I mean, gonna be July. And for me, that is cosmetic.
Okay.
Exactly.
Charles, you have a point on that.
Okay, my point, you asked the question about the issue of quorum. It raises a fundamental question in our new system of governance after devolution. You see, Parliament shall stand dissolved on 8th August, on the day of the next elections. But now, here are parliamentarians who are fighting the election, some of them who lost in primaries, and you expect them to go and discharge duties as MPs in Parliament.
But they are still members of Parliament,
that's the problem, and it goes to what you say, that it falls with leadership. So if the challenge is not only at the National Assembly, look even at the county government level, where now we have governors who have lost, and they know they are no longer in power. So what happens to county operations between now and August, when we get new governors in place, even the issues of embezzlement of funds. So back to the issue of the quorum in Parliament, I think the political party leadership have a lot of work to do in terms of marshalling the numbers and really bringing the MPs back to Parliament to discharge their duties, especially for those who have lost elections and they know they're not coming back.
All right, fine.
Because they know they're doing an act and they're just,
they're just passing,
finalizing.
Finalizing. All right, we'll come back to the conversation shortly. But for now, though,